Here we'll learn how to make this Datawrapper map. This map shows all the World Heritage sites, and if we zoom in, we can get a more granular view and see all the specific sites. If you mouse over, you'll be able to get the description and the country it's in. And the color coding indicates whether it's a nature site, a mixed culture and nature site, or a cultural site. There's some zoom functions. There's an inset map that kind of tells you what part of the world you're in. Okay, let's do it. First, we begin with this data set. This is just a clean data set we had created. And you just take the link, go to Datawrapper, and create a new uh, map. So go to Datawrapper, go to Create Map. It's going to be a symbol map. Each dot is a World Heritage site. And the data source, the base map is going to be the world because we are just doing the World Heritage site. But if you have other types of maps, you might want to search for the region. The Datawrapper has thousands and thousands of different maps with very granular and specific boundaries. That's one of the great benefits of using this tool. But for now, we'll just use the map. And the data is actually coming from connect to Google Sheet. So skip all this for now and connect to the Google Sheet. Paste that in there and connect. Hopefully it finds all the data points. It's going to load it in here. The next step is you go step by step to match the data. So by step 2, choose to match it. And in the data cleaning video, I emphasize that the countries and everything and the longitude, latitude is useful. So now it's coming in very handy, longitude, latitude. I think he auto-detected Datawrapper that column G is the latitude, column F is the latitude. So maybe we should swap these two. Latitude, no, latitude is G, F is longitude. So that's correct. And then the size, we might use the hectare acre. We'll see how it looks, the area, to show the size of the dot. And for the color, we're going to use whether it's a category of cultural or natural or mixed. So category. So these are kind of the things we want to show and represent with the map. Some of the symbols could not be shown with the value. So we'll troubleshoot those. Maybe it was just some empty cells or something. But yeah, these are the empty cells from Google Sheet. If we want to, do it correctly, we could just delete those. But they will not pose a problem for us. Okay, let's continue. Proceed. Always increase the size of the map because the map will be too small. So you can either drag here. I think that's fine, 1,200. Notice some of the dots are very cluttered together, especially in the European sites. So there's a few settings we can make. We can group nearby symbols. That's always a good practice. You can make it more sensitive or less sensitive. I tend to like to make it less sensitive to show more the individual dots. So maybe the least sensitive. If the users zoom in, they'll see the individual dots. If it's on a smaller screen, we choose the size. All those settings are fine. Sometimes you might not want to use the hectare acre size, but I think this is fine. This actually works all right. And the 3 colors, you can change it if you click into it and select customize a color. You can choose a different color in this way. Yeah. Okay. And now you want to show size legend. Maybe you do, sometimes you don't, but this is the kind of size of the circle. And you can also use this as a style. That's pretty nice too. Um, but right now the scale is set too small. If you want to increase the scale, you would say this way, drag this. So now the scale looks interesting. And you can place the scale of the legend and anywhere you want. That would be in, the location. And you can change the format of the numbers as well. Is it below, to the right, maybe inside? So there's a lot of settings you can manipulate. And then show the color, top left. Maybe this is good. Okay, so continuing on, we want to uh, this is a good feature, enable hover on highlighting on hover. So if you hover on this, it'll just show you and display that category on the map. So this is a nice interactive feature to enable. Okay. With the grouping, you also have to keep in mind that how do you show the color of the group? And you can control that by either fix, always this color, or you can say what's the majority, the most common value. The first symbol, the first dot, or the site category might not be that interesting, but the most common one, it's like a voting mechanism. Okay. You don't have to turn that on, but good to know that exists. In terms of the inset map, you first make the map zoomable. This definitely needs to be zoomable. So you get the plus and minus icons. Right? And then you turn on the inset map. I like to leave it on just even if for visual effect. But it does show wherever you zoom into what part of the world you're in. Okay, it does work for cities and streets level zoom as well. I think that's the whole map. It's fun to play with. It's quite easy to use, and we could just publish this. And of course, we have to add a title, but that's how you work with the maps and the data. If you have the longitude and latitude data points for the points we also have to learn about annotation. If you turn on show label, it will show the kind of the major areas, and you can change the size of these labels. But you can also specify a very specific label any way you want. Let's say Sydney, Australia, and then they'll turn that symbol on. I like to always turn on the tooltips, and tooltips are very fun to play with. The tooltips you should always customize. Notice these are the variables, to data table. So if you click on the title, you can say, this is the title of the site. And so if you mouse over, you should be able to see the title of the site. If you want the description, you put it in the body and you click on description and you get the description in there. So any variables accessible to you, you can write HTML code in here as well. So if you want the country, it's interesting. Why is country not here? The date it's inscribed, and you can, put all that in by HTML code as well. Make it bold, create a break line, and you'll instantly give you that change. And if you want the time to be, the day and time to be a specific format, you click on the down arrow and say, this is the format I want. So it's easier to scan. Okay. And now we can also turn on group the tooltips as well. So this will show a custom tooltip, and you can decide how to show the first one, the last one, and so on. These are more advanced customizations. Okay, for now I'll turn this off. One last thing about sharing the map: when you finish and publish the map, there's two ways to kind of open the map because this is such a huge size in terms of width. I tend to want to, instead of using the for sharing, I like to use for visualization only. And that'll give us a lot more space in the next browser window. So this will be, resizable according to the user's browser window. And so that's nice. Whereas the other way will only show a specific size for sharing only. But for charts, you would definitely go with for sharing only. But for these maps, yeah, it's better to. So this is the other option. Okay. And that's all for maps. So we are able to put the data onto a map. Okay, take care.